and I'm going to just start by saying sport will never die. So that's truly what I believe. But I'll start by saying that I've been coaching for 49 years, 11 years at the high school level, and going on 39 years at Harvard. Not sure how I've lasted that long, but I have. And so it's my passion, and sport will never die. I will tell everyone that everything happened at Harvard really quickly when we got the announcement. It was a Tuesday. I was with my team. The university announced all students have to pack up and get off campus and be out by Sunday. All the coaches were caught in the middle of this because we did not have any forewarning. We didn't have any direction. We didn't know whether there was going to be postseason play for the winter sports or seasons for the spring sports. And our kids immediately were devastated. Our kids immediately had a million questions. And so instead of writing practices and getting ready for a tournament, we found ourselves dealing with a whole range of pretty serious emotions going on with all of the student athletes. It was pandemonium. It was really hard. The Ivy League took 2 or 3 days to figure out how to move forward. I don't think they all agreed. I think there was some really intense arguments. Harvard, I believe, stepped up and did the right thing and canceled the basketball tournament to start this. Very controversial, highly criticized. People were furious, but it turned out being the safe and correct decision. And then, as we all know, the winter sports lost all their postseason tournaments, lost their NCAA bids. The season teams, the spring teams got slammed. They lost their seasons. Were in training at Harvard. Those that were contending for national titles, they lost all this intense workout that they had been doing like all year long. That was all gone. And so serious emotions, serious disappointment, serious fear. And then the question of where are we going and what's going to happen to us. It was a really hard time. The dust settled, everyone's at home, and now we have to figure out how to run our teams. And so, I think all of us were creatively trying to figure out, how do I do ball handling? How do I do skill work remotely? How do I do conditioning remotely? How do I do the leadership stuff that you do in the off season remotely? I'm a big proponent of sports psychology. That was the easiest part of what I do that can be done remotely, but everything else, we just were scrambling to be creative. And I'm not sure, I think we did a good job, but we'll see. When we get back together, I'll let you know whether we succeeded or failed at it. But I will tell you from personal experience, I have never worked harder. This is my time to breathe and take a break. And I have not stopped working as hard as I've ever worked in 49 years of coaching, honestly. And I'm not the exception. I think every coach across the country is doing the same thing. And as if that wasn't enough, then the horrific state of affairs in the country, the social injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement went to the top of the list. It became our priority and should become our priority because it's far too late in coming. And so there was perspective from all coaches, from athletes, that humanity matters way more than ball handling and shooting, to be quite honest with you. And so I've spent the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, again, dealing with emotion, dealing with questions, dealing with education and awareness, trying to figure out how we all can use our platforms individually and collectively to make this a better world. I call my athletes all the time through the summer to say, how's your conditioning and how's your workout? And I have not asked one of them about their shot. I have asked them, how are you doing? And their answers would bring tears to your face. They're hurting. There's anger, there's fear, there's disappointment, there's finger pointing. And I feel like I'm in charge of that. And I have to, if we were together, we could use the power of our team in our sport, but we're not together, and we have to use, Zoom and technology, and it's just not as powerful, to be perfectly honest with you. So it's been a really hard 2 to 3 months for all coaches, not just me, all coaches. And another dramatic change, I'm in charge of the program, so I have to recruit. So our recruiting has changed dramatically. Everything is virtual. home visits, unofficial visits, campus visits. There's nothing in person. And you know as well as I that that's just not as good. No matter how hard I work, it's just not as good. So I don't know where that's going to go. Evaluation period has been taken away. We can't go out in the spring. We can't go out in July. And so I don't know how I'm going to put my class together. It's a mess. It's the great unknown. I will close by saying that I believe all that we love in sport will come back. There's no doubt in my mind. I think the entertainment will come back. I think the community building will come back. I think even the revenue in some regard will come back. I think the fiscal part of it is the hardest for everybody. I think there's been a lot of people that have been hit really, really hard. I hope the people at the top help the people at the bottom. But I have always believed sport is a classroom. And so whether we have fans in our gyms and arenas, at the college level, it's a powerful education tool. And if you look at my alumni list, it's a who's who in this country for what my alumni are doing, what they're accomplishing, what they've achieved professionally in their careers. And that is the power of sport. That came from being at Harvard and being an athlete at Harvard. So I will say to you, we're going to come back. It's going to take a little longer than we like. But if anyone can change the world, this generation can change the world.